Hello everyone and welcome to WWE's It Factor, and we're fresh here off of Bound for Glory, TNA's biggest pay-per-view of the year. We start the show off with RVD, the whole effing show, versus Zema Ion. He's that effing good for the X Division title. And question here, is RVD even under the 250-pound limit? Just a question. But anyway, they're fighting for the X Division title, and RVD hits the frog splash, his 5-star frog splash, and wins the X Division title. It was a really good, high-flying kind of match. RVD is getting old. You could really tell, in this match that he can't go the way he used to go back in the day. Alright, but after that we had a backstage segment with Magnus, and here's another match that I called wrong because Samoa Joe versus Magnus. It was a pretty decent match. But watching through the match and seeing, the promos and stuff, you could really tell who was going to win. And Joe won. Joe won with the rear naked choke. The same way he beat, I believe it was AJ Styles a couple weeks ago for the Bound for Glory series. He, kicked his leg and pulled his tights and, did the choke. Joe won. There was no beatdown after. They didn't, keep on going with the story. So, it'll be interesting to see how they continue that story on TNA. Alright, next we had another backstage segment with Robert Roode. And he's basically, talking about how he's going to beat Storm. And if, King Mo gets in his way, he's going to drop him too. And by far, this match was the best match of the night. James Storm versus Robert Roode. They pulled out all the stops, man. They went crazy. They even had thumbtacks in the match. I haven't seen thumbtacks in years since I've seen thumbtacks. This was an awesome match. It was really seeing King Mo's face every time they did some crazy stuff. That was funny. King Mo was like, "Holy shit, what did I get myself into?" But it was awesome. Great match. These two killed it. James Storm got the victory, and maybe I hope they're done with the feud. Get something fresh with them. Get somebody else to do stuff with them, which would be better. Alright, we had another backstage segment with Joey Ryan. Now, I like Joey Ryan, but this segment backstage was not the best he did before. He did a lot better on TNA. This was not the best one he did, and it showed in the match. This match again, we go from the best match of the night to the most boringest, suckiest match of the night. Joey Ryan versus Al Snow for a contract. Joey Ryan got the victory over Al Snow by Matt Morgan, kicking Al Snow with his finisher. Matt Morgan, he has come back to TNA. He has, we saw him on TNA in an iPad or whatever, interfering in a house show. But Matt Morgan made his comeback on Bound for Glory. At the end of the match, when Joey Ryan won, he extended his hand for a handshake to Matt Morgan, and Matt Morgan accepted it, and I hope this doesn't lead to a tag team. Me watching the show, I thought he was going to accept the handshake and then turn around and kick him, but it didn't happen, and I hope this doesn't turn into a tag team. Now that he's back, I hope TNA uses him the right way, because then he should really just went with WWE. Then next we had a backstage segment with Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, and it seems like before every match so far we had a backstage segment, which that's not really appealing that much. But we had a backstage segment with Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. They were just basically telling us how they're going to win the next match. And the next match was the Triple Threat Tag Team match with AJ Styles and Kurt Angle versus Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez versus the Tag Team Champions Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. And this match I thought was going to steal the show. I thought it was going to be match of the night. They had all the potential to do it, and they failed. They failed terribly because this match was not exciting, even though it could have been. Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez got the win, which, it's good because, like I said, they really needed it. And, yeah, we saw Kazarian take a horrible fall, and, I think it was from a Hurricanrana or suplex, I think it was. And he took a bad fall on his shoulder, and I hope he's not injured. Next we had Tara versus Miss Tessmacher for the Knockouts Championship. And it was a really good match. It was very... they had a better match on TNA a couple of weeks ago. So, not the best, but it was good. Tara won, and she got the title, which was weird. Even though I called it right but I think Miss Tessmacher should have kept it longer than she had it. Anyway, post match we had Tara announce who her boyfriend is, and it was Jesse from Big Brother. I had to write that down because I didn't know who the hell he was. I don't even know why the hell he's in there. This was stupid. It was boring. I hate stupid segments like this. Who the hell cares? And it's on their biggest pay-per-view of the year, and they have a stupid segment like this. It's sad. All right, we had some skits, and we had a preview of Sting Hall of Fame, and it looked pretty nice. You know, I wish they had something like WWE does, where they actually have a show dedicated to Hall of Fame. But you know, they only had one person going in, so maybe maybe that's why they didn't do it. But it looked nice. Sting looked awesome. But yeah, next we had the match. It was Bully Ray and Sting versus Aces of Eights and Eights. It was an okay match. It could have been way awesome. We saw Bully Ray coming out with some face paint on. It was okay. It was kind of a brawl, kind of a not a brawl. The ending came out with more. You know, they announced that it was going to be a street fight, and the ending came out with more Ace of Eights guys coming out, attacking. And then one big guy put Bully Ray through the table, and they got the win. So now Aces of Eights are allowed into the TNA arena. So, and then after that we have Hulk Hogan, rampage everybody down, hitting everybody with right hands, knocking them all out. And then we go into the ring for the final guy of Aces of Eights, and Sting holds him down, and Hulk Hogan takes off his mask, and it's Devon. Devon is one of the Aces of Eights guys, and it's amazing. It's amazing that nobody knew that Devon was there. Anywhere you read online, it said Devon left the company, he was fired, he's done, and all along he was still with TNA, and nobody could figure that out. That's what I like about TNA. TNA knows how to keep their things secretively. They know how to keep their stuff to themselves, and nobody can find out about it. That was awesome. I was happy that they actually pulled one over on us. But as for being the leader of Aces and Eights, I don't think it's Devon. It has somebody way bigger up on top, especially somebody with way more mic potential. But they needed to expose somebody, and they did, and it was Devon. I'm still going out that it's Bischoff that's the leader. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Next, we had the main event. I think. 1 second. Yeah, we had the main event. It was Austin Aries versus Jeff Hardy. But before that, we had a backstage segment with Austin Aries. And, he was just basically talking about his promo that he did on TNA. How he doesn't care if people like him or whatever. And it was really interesting. And it got me really hyped up for the match. Entrance time. We have Jeff Hardy coming out to a new theme song. Now, seeing that, you can already tell who's going to win this match. I said it before. TNA wants to keep Jeff Hardy happy. And TNA kept him happy. They gave him a new theme song, and they gave him the title. Yes, Jeff Hardy won. And it was a pretty good match. At least they didn't give it to him in a stupid squash match or whatever. But there was a really good match, and hopefully Austin Aries gets a rematch in the next pay-per-view, and maybe he'll get the title back sooner or later. But as for right now, Jeff Hardy won. And there's nothing I can say. I wish he lost. If he lost, maybe he would have gone back to WWE, because, WWE, more money, better, bigger crowd, Jeff Hardy will be used a lot more over there. But hell, it already happened. I give the show 6.2. 6.2 because it was the biggest show of the year for TNA, and this is the best that they could come up with. Really. It was not that good. They could have done way better, especially for the biggest show. As for best match of the night, James Storm, Robert Roode, no doubt about it. Worst match, Al Snow versus Joey Ryan. I called 4.5 out of the matches right in my preview, so 4.5 because I called one way. I basically called one split down the middle, so 4.5 out of 8, pretty good for me. And if you want to watch it, you can go watch it. it's not a waste of time, but I wouldn't advise it. It kind of is, but I don't even know anymore. Bound for Glory wasn't the best show, and it was their biggest show. So that tells you where they're going. Let me know what you thought about the show in the comments below. Leave me a like. Will help me out a lot. And if you're new around here, please subscribe. I put out content every day. And, yeah. CM Punk review of his movie, the DVD, is coming out soon. Stay tuned.